To review of Kamen Rider Ichigo Real Bone version. I guess this is actually technically version 3 because the version that came with the new Cyclone bike is actually version 2 because the molding stayed the same pretty much. The paint job was actually a little bit different, especially on the helmet. Anyway, so this is the new version. I have 2 here. I got pre-ordered 2. I guess I was just getting one for spare. Maybe I'll sell it off later or maybe paint it into a Shocker Rider. Who knows? I haven't decided what to do with that yet. Front of the box, Ichigo here is facing more directly towards the camera or the photo, the front, whereas the boxes are usually looking slightly to the side. But either way, it still follows the same standard as all of the other boxes in this sub-line of SH Figuarts, which is cool because it keeps everything really uniform and I like that stuff. It makes it easier to stack up the boxes, put them in the shelves and whatnot. Not really hate it when every box is slightly different size. That's quite annoying. So, as always, there's tape on both sides of the box. Just get that out, and of course inside you have the instruction manual and the figure and the accessories in different trays. If you want to take a closer look at the instruction sheet, photo show of the figure, as well as the box, please feel free to head over to the Facebook or flick a link in the video description below. The first tray is the figure, and there shouldn't be too much stuff flying out, so just peel that off, it should come off quite easily. There we go. And the second tray we have the accessories. A lot of hands in here, so be careful. And oh, that went all over the place. In the tray here, apart from the fist already on the figure, we also have 2 flat spray open hands, some kind of relaxed hands, but they're slightly grippy, actual relaxed hands, and bike holding or item holding hands. We also have the scarf in the relaxed position. The other one that's already attached on the figure is, flying, blowing in the air. We also have a little bracket here that holds spare antennas for the helmet in case you break yours. If we look at the accessories on both sides here, you can see that this one comes with 1 extra hand. Now this one comes with a slightly different palm hand where the thumb is like that inside. Not really sure what that's for. We already have 2 palm hands, so I can't tell you what that's for. But on the other hand, this one we have hands that are slightly less relaxed and a little bit more grippy. Again, not really sure what that's for. I guess that's probably more handy though. Do we get a pair of those instead of just one? I guess if you're posing him with maybe some other riders and he's holding some of their stuff, that can come in handy. The scarves here, the old ones are made out of a slightly harder plastic. The new ones are a little bit more rubbery, and these ones are a lot more smaller. I mean, the new ones, the shapes are fine. I think the old ones, the shapes are fine as well. Except I do prefer this darker red color. I like that a lot. The hands on the old one look a little bit thinner, skinnier, and longer. Longer fingers than the new ones. The hands look kind of chubby, but I suppose it makes sense in terms of the scale of the rest of the figure. Like I said, there's spare antennas with the new one, so if you snap the old one, it's going to be a pain to fix that. And however, the old one does come with this Shocker sword cane thing, which is a nice accessory to have. Doesn't come with the Shocker compartment, and it also has this effect piece, which I used to like, but I don't really care for much now. Since if I'm going to do effect parts like that, I'm just going to do it on Photoshop, but for some people, just for posing, it's a nice piece to have. The new one in the box definitely was space for an accessory like this. Not necessarily the effects part, but it would have been nice if it came with some sort of item like this, because well, if you don't get the old one, you're not going to have it. Hoping that the Shocker combatment version 2, like the real bow version, will come with accessories like this. You can hold on to the old sword, so that's good. The effects part doesn't fit because his feet's far too big. Alright, so the new figure is definitely more bulky to fit the the real bone structure, like those actual suit, and yeah, it looks much closer to the suit itself. However, unlike previous figures in this line, this time I'm not too sure that everything is better with the new figure. Now yes, if you just want to do certain photo shoots and whatnot, the new one does look way more realistic. Let's see. So let's start comparing them. Now the new figure is a little bit taller and his horns stick out a little bit more. You can see that the other one's a little bit flatter, probably because they didn't want it to be easily breakable or snappable. So the coloring of the helmet on the new one's also much nicer. It's got a chrome and shiny effect, whereas this one is missing that. I could be wrong, but I do recall seeing the original Ichigo Figuarts having a better paint on the helmet. This is the one that came with the bike and the big sort of set. We move down to the chest armor. The coloring has different folds, and the actual armor piece looks kind of like it does in the show. It's definitely some sort of sponge padded thing. that's on top of like a jacket, and the two chest muscle pieces here and here. Hey, this sword's coming in handy right now. Have a little ball peg underneath so that I can move slightly out the way for the arms to move a lot better. And if you look in the show, when the actor is moving his arms around, the chest armor will move along with it, because it is actually soft material. Now, yeah, that makes sense to make it look like the suit, but if you think about it, this is meant to be some sort of armor and metal and all that, so realistically it should stay hard and it should stay, you know, smooth and solid, unless someone punches a dent into it. So in a weird way, this one, yeah, it's not as show accurate, but it's more concept accurate, if that makes sense. The belt itself, both of them are actually equally detailed, they're just different shapes. Just like the old one, this one is attached to this bottom flap here of the jacket. So yeah, I kind of wish they don't do that anymore, but they've done that. The joint here is hidden pretty well on the new one. The old one is a little bit ugly, you know, you got this weird sort of leg extendy thing, but it does make him a lot more posable. If you look at the arms and the legs, I do prefer the shinier chrome and silver on the old one. Again, the new one looks a bit more realistic, it's a little bit of a matte color, but just in terms of saturation and vibrance, I like the old one a lot more. Everything just seems shiny and brighter. With the exception of the helmet, I think the old one has nicer colors. Again, not because it's more screen accurate or anything, it just looks nicer. If we turn these around to the side, the old one definitely loses here. You got way more pattern molding in the newer figure here. You see that there? If you just look at it, you see that there are actually ridges molded into the new one on his jacket sleeve, and that looks really good, whereas the old one just has a bit of silver paint on there, so that doesn't look too good. And on the old one, the joint isn't painted either. The joint on this one is actually molded with the same silver pattern, so that's pretty impressive. As well as here, if you look at the old one here, the joint on the hand right there is just a black plastic stud underneath. This new one, while it's not painted in chrome or anything, is actually molded in a metallic silver plastic. So again, it looks much better. Looking at the back, I think it's pretty much the same differences here really. Just a lot more detail on the new one. And here, this one, the new one wins in terms of color, because the two black back sort of, you know, buggy wing patterns on the suit is actually painted a lot better on this. And the belt buckle, belt strap also looks a lot nicer as well. Boot pattern underneath, and boot pattern underneath. This one actually has more boot pattern on the heel as well, so it's got a little bit more pattern on the boots. So overall, yes, I have to say the new one in terms of screen accuracy is a lot better, but I don't hate the old one. The new one can't even put his arms together. It's like, oh, beefcake, yeah! Whereas the old one's like, oh, come on, calm down with the weights. The old one is a lot better to articulate than the new one. It moves a lot smoother, it's a lot more fun to play with. While swapping the hands, the joint is also a lot nicer. The new one, for some reason, some of the hands are too tight, and it makes me worried. I'm gonna snap the little hand joint. It's really frustrating, and on one occasion, just for this video, while posing him for the different hands, when I was putting one of the hands out, the peg came out with the hand, so that is quite annoying. Hear that? Yeah, that's bad. It gets even worse on the top chest. That's really bad. Need to either sand down the ball joint inside or something, or grease it up. That's not good. If your figure continues to do that, you're probably damaging the plastic or stressing it out, and eventually it will snap. So it either has to loosen up or it will break. So what's a rider who can't ride on his bike? Pathetic. And look at this. See, the problem with the arms is he can't even get these arms together. So let's forget for a moment that we can't even get his legs bent enough for him to sit on the original bike. Yeah, to be fair, when he's in this form, he never did ride on this bike. At least I don't think so, because he already moved on to the new Cyclone by then. But come on, this is stupid. Beta Cyclone fares a bit better because the bike O4 is taller. It doesn't have to lean forward and bend down as much. And yes, it is mostly Nigo's bike for him to ride, but a Nigo version of this figure is coming out. And if Nigo's going to have the same joints as this guy, you can see he's still kind of awkward. You need to bend his arms in a way where you get the elbow joint bending inwards for him to properly sit on this thing. And yeah, it's just kind of awkward, really. Him to sit on the new Cyclone actually looks okay from the front, but if you move on to the side, actually getting his butt to touch the bike is impossible because his legs won't bend that much, or his like hip area won't bend that much. But really, the biggest problem is this bit, and just his arms look kind of awkward from the front, but it's okay. So at least he can sit on this bike decently, and people are already speculating, is Bandai going to release a new version of this bike just to fit this new figure? If they do, I don't know, I guess I'm going to skip it because I'm not really sure the difference is going to be that big. It isn't, is it? Articulation, we got the double ball joint for the neck, so you can look up, look down, note how the zipper goes all the way, and the scarf itself is not glued down to the neck piece, so you can rotate a little bit to allow this peg to go all around the body if you need to get it out of the way. Ball peg for the scarf. Do mine now because this joint is very loose and it can get actually quite frustrating for some people when they're posing too much. Mine seems to be okay, but I've seen people online complaining already. Like I said, these two chest pieces are on a little ball peg, like a little dumbbell kind of shaped ball peg, like ball next to ball, so they can move just a little bit just to get it out the way of the arm movements if you need them to. So that's that. I'll get that out of the way. Shoulder pad. Shoulder has a double joint there, and you got this piece there to cover up the joint. And the joint here is colored correctly, but it's not metallic or silver or anything. It's just a white plastic, like slightly silvery plastic in there, but it's okay. It's mostly unnoticeable. So double joint there, and because you got this like a little arm swivel there, and full rotation of course. Like I said, the arms can't go all the way in. If you want to make him seem a little bit more natural, you're going to have to turn his arm around this way and use the elbow joint. So yeah, full rotation here and more pads on the inside. Double elbow joint. So hands on a peg and swivel, ball peg and swivel. And then I think it's not actually a ball peg inside. There's actually an arm and a rotating joint in both of the joints. You see, you can move this very far up, and the zipper line actually mold and the paint goes quite far into the figure, so that the suit doesn't become disjointed or whatnot. So that's good. And if you rotate them back, you can go forward as well, and a bit of a gap there. Yeah, you really need them to do that quite a bit when you put them on a bike or something. But you can. Oh, there goes the neck. You can go quite far back. Really don't like those clicks. I wish the figure was a bit smoother. And you can go far out. So you can bend sideways, sideways, sideways. I couldn't break this on camera so if I'm not careful. Oh, full rotation here. You can actually see the joints inside. That's something. Full rotation here as well. Leg goes up, not straight. Forward and backward, the butt sort of gets in the way. Fair enough. And no, I think it's forward, so I'm not going to force it. I can rotate this much and this much, and the shape of the thing just gets in the way. Double knee joint, I think, and the pattern does continue, but because it's a joint, it's not going to look completely natural. Foot goes up and back, sideways, sideways, so peg and swivel, and toe joint goes almost like 80 degrees toe joint, so yeah. Kamen Rider Ichigo's suit is one of those tokusatsu designs that have actually aged really well since the 70s. Not all heroes out there have aged well. There are certain ones that look kind of tacky. The first Sentai Red Ranger, yeah, it looks a little bit off. Gavan looks okay, but even Ultraman looks okay. I don't like Ultraman, but I think it's aged well. But a lot of other heroes don't do that, and this suit does. And it's represented here pretty well with this version of the figure. And no doubt about it, from the promotional photos already, I really like the design of this suit and really want to get my hands on it. And even now I still think it's a good looking figure, but I'm not as excited about it anymore once I've played around with it. Those few problems just make it not nice to play with. I mean, yeah, it looks great I guess, but he doesn't sit well on the bike. Certain joints are kind of scary to handle. The old one's just a lot more fun and a lot more vibrant to look at. Plus, if you already have the old version of Ichigo, there's 3 of them, and there's 2 Nigos, and you have all the bikes, then you really have to super like the original suit design to pick this one up. If you already have all the previous Figuarts, this might be the skip for you if you're not a big Ichigo fan. I think Ichigo's really cool, and I think this figure looks really cool, but the old one actually has a lot of merit when compared to this one. This isn't like the Cougar figure where the original one just looks really ugly and the new one looks so perfect compared to the old one. Even with Agito, the old one looks super skinny. I never had it, but it looked okay I guess, but the new one just looks so much more awesome, especially with all the new functionality with the belt buckle and the sector. So those figures look really good compared to the old one. Whereas this one, the old one I think is pretty decent. So it also comes down to this. If you're an adult collector, an older collector, and you just want something to stand on the shelf and look pretty, this one will do fine. If you actually want a figure to mess around with, play around with, not throw him, but chuck him about like hoo, 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 and not care, then the old one actually does a lot better job. So kind of 50-50 on this one, and the old one shouldn't be too hard to find because it was reissued with the bikes. However, the bikes can get quite expensive in some places, so keep an eye out. I definitely wouldn't pay more for the old one versus this one. If both of them were at the same price, then you really gotta think, am I gonna play with this more, or am I gonna display it more? And then decide for yourself which version you're gonna get. So molding wise, detail wise, this one is great, and paint job is great overall. However, there are a few scratch marks, hair marks here and there on the figure. I noticed a mark on the scarf was missing a bit of paint. That's a little bit annoying. And mostly the biggest issue with the paint job on this guy is the belt buckle, belt strap itself. The little silver metallic red bits on the side can be quite uneven, and it's impossible for you to check this figure to see if it's painted perfectly. So because there's no window on the box, you can't check it. So it's a little bit of 50-50, see how well yours come out. Both of mine I have seem okay for the most part, but there's still a few bits on the silver paint didn't quite hit the mark and a little bit off-centered. I've noticed that the detachable horns and antennae on the helmet, I think one of them they didn't cut it or didn't clip it enough, so it's one of the horns is extruding from the helmet just a little bit more than the other, making it seem a little bit uneven, but I can live with that. Some people can't because they're thinking, hey, I'm picking up an expensive figure, that shouldn't happen. If you liked this video or found it useful, please consider clicking the like button, subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and of course take a look at my other videos. I've reviewed a lot of Figuarts and a lot of Lego toys, bootleg Lego as well as Henshin toys, so I hope you can check those out. If you want to support this channel, please turn ad block off, but if you don't want to do that and still want to support this channel, please consider heading over to Patreon and giving some support there. As always, take care, have a nice day, I'll see you guys soon, bye bye now.